forgot what time it was. And hey, everybody, it's my fault, as almost everything is, that we are 5 minutes late.
Just plugging the guitar, man.
If there are any typos in the internet anywhere, those are my fault. And let's see. I think that's it. Just the lateness and all typos in recorded history. Those are the things that are my fault. Hey, everybody. It's Kate Side Live. It's your boy Sean in the basement coming at you with Geno on the axe. Right. I don't know why he's playing guitar. I think he's trying to get somebody to sleep with him, but I'm not positive. So it might be me. I don't know.
Sean, would you fuck me?
Right now or in general?
Right now.
Sure. Let's do it live. Fuck it. Let's do
it
live.
He said, I like that's how I sext, by the way. Hey, would you fuck me? Sure. All right, cool. And that's what we do. We're not going to cover the Rollins sexts, are we?
I didn't even know that was a thing, so I haven't seen that anywhere but from you. I think it's.
I saw it on the Twitter.
I don't follow those nasty Twitter people that you follow. I just follow the ones that complain about.
It was
complain. I follow people who complain about people who complain.
The person who tweeted it was Tanya, staff member at Cage Side Seats. Sorry for Sean calling you nasty, Tanya. She was linking it to another cage sider. It's apparently going around. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks that that stuff gets out there. It's unfortunate. Yeah, if you're an adult, that's what
he didn't do it. Yeah, I don't.
It literally starts that way. I'm an adult. Let's have some adult fun. And I shouldn't even say that. That's reading the fucking text. I'm sorry, but it's and he's not wrong, right? He's an adult. She's an adult, presumably, hopefully. I'm sure. Do we want? That's your business. That's not a news story. Like you said, what's the angle? Adult male loves sex.
Yep. I don't get it.
Attractive man loves to bone down. More to 11.
And I don't fucking. I don't know. I guess you could say, this gets into what we were talking about last time. The take on it, I guess, could be that Seth has poor judgment about this stuff, but I don't know that.
That's not poor judgment, though. He's just
he's picked a partner who's willing to share this with the universe. Maybe. That's, we don't know where this came from, but it's either his phone got hacked or she shared it.
Or she just decided, that she was going to, oh my God, this is a famous guy. We talked about this the other day. Being a celebrity must suck. You can't do anything without just absolute scrutiny.
Your life is different now, so.
And we are a part of that. We play into that with some, we'll report on. Look, here's the thing. I say let's not cover it. If he talks about it, we'll cover it then.
Yeah, and that's what I said. If WWE issues a statement, then it becomes.
Yeah. Like the Hogan thing, like the Hogan versus Gawker big thing, right? Like, my stance as the editor-in-chief at Cage Side Seats is you don't post the sex tape unless it's, if he released it, right? If he made it a news story. Otherwise, it's private. You don't put that up. I don't think that's a thing to do. And we've, the fappening and all that other stuff, the celebrity stuff that got out.
Here's
what I'll say. I'm not going to be high and mighty and act like I'm better than other people. If you looked at those images, if you knew they were out there and you went and looked for them, I'm not going to act like you're some fucking monster. I'm not going to do that. But please understand it's wrong. It is wrong. And if you don't want your dick out there, don't send a dick pic. Don't say that, because it's not, you shouldn't have to, you're blaming a victim for being a victim and say, well, you shouldn't have done this. Otherwise someone, like saying, if you don't want your home broken into, don't have a home. Well, I have to live somewhere. Well, you don't have to send dick pics. Well, I'm an adult who likes to have some fun, and sometimes you can have some fun. It's not, What about long-distance relationships? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, we should stop talking about this and talk about wrestling.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
I'm trying to defend this so Sean can continue sending me pics. I'll never put your pics out there, baby. Promise.
I know.
So this show, we already talked in the Cage Side Orifices that there are two things. The thing that I loved, you didn't like, and the thing that you loved, I didn't like.
I think, actually, I read your review for a change just because we had prepped that we might disagree, and I actually don't think we disagree that much.
No, you don't think so?
Everybody can tune out now. Yeah, okay. I think it's subjective stuff.
Let's not even talk then.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's talk about something we can all agree about.
Which is?
And that is
Bailey.
The old day.
Oh man,
We could probably all agree about Bailey too.
Well-
So those are two things we can agree about. So let's talk. You want to talk about what we agree about or what we sort of disagree about?
you lead the way. I'm your man. I'm right behind you. Staring at your
Was
ass.
the old day segment the worst segment in the history of professional wrestling?
No, but it was close.
Feel like it.
No, but it was close. What an awful idea. Not an awful idea. Awful in execution. I don't mind the idea. I like that I think you should always come up with something and always try, right? Always, even if your shit's not funny. I mean, attempt it, because you never know, it might be funny, it might be good. This was not in any way, shape, or form. Hindsight's 20/20. So you look back and you're like, I don't know why you'd even think that'd be good, because old idiots, young people acting like old people, acting like New Day. That doesn't even sound interesting to me.
Yeah. Here's my serious take. What I don't get about what WWE is doing with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows is, if you've ever listened to these guys on like Jericho's podcast or anything like that, they're funny motherfuckers.
They really are.
They're like you and me. I mean, I'm not saying they're probably funnier than it, but they're professionals. They're good friends. They've got good banter. They tell great stories, and somehow creative has decided the thing to do with that is give them like shitty rejected Mad TV sketches to read. I don't know. I mean, you could just let them go out there and talk. I mean, it's bad. I don't even think it qualifies as like bad SNL sketches. It's worse than that. I don't know what it is. It's like somebody's YouTube comedy channel that doesn't get any views. It's horrible. And I like the ring post-itis stuff. I thought they were just charming enough to make that work, but the old fart stuff is just stop.
It's no different than New Day. I mean, in the sense that New Day's done some stuff that's bombed really bad. The time machine thing was stupid as hell.
How this all started, right? They're the ones that started messing with the space-time continuum, and now look where it led us.
There you go. And also, remember, they did something where they brought in a dude from the crowd who we all thought was going to die just jumping the barricade. Mm-hmm. And that died a death.
I always feel like they're letting the New Day be themselves a little bit more than they're letting Gallows and Anderson. I don't know. And I can't back that up. It's just a sense that I feel like they just the New Day have got
my claims, but here they are.
I'm not going to pretend that I have backstage sources that tell me New Day gets to write their own shit. I don't know that. But I get the feeling that they've got enough leeway with Vince at this point that he sort of says, you got 15 minutes, go out there and try something. But the Gallows and Anderson stuff feels like very, very scripted to me.
Do you think they have a script and Vince like has it in front of him during the show and he's looking at it like the motherfuckers went off my script? Like, because then if he doesn't, then they could say, well, that's what was written.
Yeah.
And then how would he know?
I don't know.
Would he know or would he care? But I guess he's anal.
I think he personally wrote the old fart stuff. That's my guess. I think that's.
I wouldn't doubt it. It was bad. I don't know. Not worst ever. There's been some. I mean, people. It's you don't remember a lot of the awful shit because you try to block it out. But there's been some really bad segments. What comes to mind for like some of the worst shit in the world? This Is Your Life, Rock.
I mean, that's really bad. If you go back and try to watch it, highest rated segment ever.
It's not actually the highest rated segment ever. But
yeah. That's the conventional.
That's the myth that surrounds it. Yeah. But it's not. But it was really bad.
It's hard to watch. Yeah, it goes on
98% of the Attitude Era was like that. Most of those were stupid ass segments. Really bad stuff. If you go back and look at the characters, there's no way it wasn't bad. Just the people involved were. Kurgan?
Yeah.
You remember Kurgan? Put him in any segment, it immediately becomes the dumbest segment that ever happened. So that was bad.
Yeah. This was the worst one in a while that I can remember, though. Because I even didn't hate the New Day Time Machine one as much as I did this. So.
What about the dude jumping the barricade and they're trying to do the thing with him?
That was pretty bad. Yeah, whatever he was. What was his name? I forget already. I've already blocked it out.
Yep, just block it out. Just block it and move on. That's what we need to do.
Yep.
So what are we talking about, Sasha?
This is the only feud. This is the only tag feud, right? I mean, this is what I don't get about Raw in general.
Really strange tag.
They've got some interesting stuff going on at the main event level, and then it's just like, what the fuck is going on? I guess Cesaro Sheamus makes sense. But the tag division is just two teams that just yell at each other, and they aren't funny. And Enzo and Cass jobbing to people. The women's division, they don't have a women's division. There's Nia Jax floating over here, squashing people and getting hit in the face with boxes.
They do. It's 3 deep.
Yeah, but what the fuck? This is the
thing.
Deepest roster in history that Vince was touting, and we got three women, and we got a couple tag teams, and you're going to love it.
Well, we've got 5 now. And
It's,
as far as the women go, it's funny because actually,
why is Titus and Darren still getting time? I mean, what the fuck is going on with this show underneath the main event?
Well, like I put in the recap, I'm pretty sure he thought Fight Forever applied to them, and he has to stick to it. He just has to. There's like, I can't, guys. It's Fight Forever. What do you want me to do? I have to book this. And, no, you don't, Vince. So he doesn't.
But he didn't book it for years. He put it on the shelf from like 2010 to 2014. Now it's back nonstop. Where's our truth? He thinks they're all one black guy. He's like, well, I got to book the black guy.
What's amazing is that even with that being the case, Jinder Mahal still did the job. So I just
he's got a new theme song though.
That's just true. Here's what's funny. I look back at the show and I'm doing the stuff, I get critical eye, all that bullshit. There's a lot of good stuff on the show as far as setting up stuff for later. A lot. Almost everything. Another thing you notice is everyone does have a story. We might not like that story, but everybody's got a story now. You're not getting on TV unless you've got some kind of story. I mean, what do we want to key in on here? Which part?
I don't know. I mean, we can do Sasha. We can do Mick, the Mick Foley Cry Fest. I would like to just sort of go off on. Can we just stop with the crying? I don't care if this makes
just
me a
in general.
I mean, I feel like this is what bothered me about both of those segments that I think we have slightly different opinions on. Is I feel like, I don't know, somewhere like with the CWC or with the Bailey stuff or something, and I'm as guilty as this as anybody. I mean, I ball like a baby for anything that has to do with Bailey and NXT. But like they've figured out that they want to sell us on Wrestling is Crying now. And they've engineered these segments that are just melodramatic, just we're going to tug on your heartstrings. The Sasha one doesn't make any sense. Like, why would a baby face go out there and fake retirement?
Yeah, doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, that segment really bugged me.
I mean, I think where we differ is I thought she did a pretty good job with what she was given. I mean, I'm a total fucking mark, so take that for what you will. But I thought it was a BS from the beginning. When I wrote the thing at 4 p.m, I said this isn't work. But I still sort of got sucked in a little bit because I thought she did a decent job with it. I thought it advanced the story they're telling with the women, I guess, which is just that we're not. It's the women's evolution story. It's not a story about any particular wrestler in general. It's that this is important, capital I, and you're going to cry about it. That's the main narrative angle for the women right now, and
here's what I'd
serve any particular story.
Okay, here's what I'd say about the Sasha stuff, and I've seen people, I think misinterpreting what I said, and I'll take the blame for that. Apparently, I didn't say it well enough. The thing I'm criticizing Sasha and her performance. Not the biggest Sasha Banks fan as far as promos go. She's great matches, and she's been in some great angles. I'm not her mannerisms and things like that. I don't like babyface Sasha because I think she's annoying as a motherfucker. But the issue here was that this is a reality era side effect. Because I've seen Sasha Banks cry 500 times. Because anytime anything happens that has like an actual real impact on her, she'll cry and they'll showcase it. In this segment, she didn't cry. She wanted to. She tried very, very hard to cry. The promo itself, all the things she was talking about, trying to conjure up that emotion, trying to bring it up, trying to well it up, trying to make like it's this thing, she couldn't do it. I'm not saying it makes her a bad performer. I mean, I guess in a sense, you're not as good as you need to be to pull something like that off. I mean, we're comparing it to the Mark Henry segment the most because that's that I can remember is the most recent like fake retirement angle, and it was a fucking smashing success. And for all the reasons that was a success, this was a failure because Henry actually did cry. Henry actually did get up there and make it. I bought it. You didn't really know what was going on at first. I mean, you kind of knew because they had hinted at it, and then here he is, and it's like, well, he is injured, and he has been dealing with a lot of injury problems lately, and he's old. As far as pro wrestling years go, he's not an old man in his actual life, but he's been around a long time. It seems about the right time that he'd go riding off into the sunset. Everything looked like, well, I guess here it is. And then he's crying and he's saying, to my daughter who cries every time I leave, Daddy's coming home. Really like hits you in the gut with it. And you're like, oh fuck, man, that sucks. But then you feel happy for that. but also like, oh, you know, he was a good career. I'm going to miss this dude. And while you're doing that, and Cena's there, and Cena kind of is the, you know, the dude who, like the main company guy who kind of gets behind people or whatever, and he's, you know, raising his hand, and it's all this. It's like, oh, this feels right. And then they hug, and then World's Strongest Slam, and you go, holy fuck. Just an amazing swerve, because all of the circumstances that led to it made sense. They fit. Sasha Banks is a 24-year-old who, while she has a history of injuries, certainly not the kind of thing where you'd think her career's in jeopardy. Although, you know, the reporting on it doesn't help, because as we've talked about, we heard at one point she died and she worked a house show days later.
Yep.
But she's got the history of injuries, but she's 24 years old. There was nothing about anything in any direction. Just the fucking week prior, she was on the Raw pre-show talking about, hey, she tried to break my back. I'm going to come back and break her fucking legs in half. And now this week, it's, oh, I got some bad news from the doctors. Okay, I don't, you know, and you're talking about all this stuff.
Even the tweet isn't coherent, because the first half is like, I'm coming back, and then it's like, oh, but I forgot I'm supposed to tease this bad news thing.
Yeah, oh, but also I have bad news, as opposed to like Henry being like, maybe tune in tonight. I got to make an announcement. The other thing was Henry was trying to, the ultimate story there was Henry needed to get a way to get a title match. The story was he'd never had the WWE Championship in his career. He's coming close to the end of said career. Excuse me, he knows that. It's why we bought the announcement. I have to fucking do something right now. I have no way. You don't just walk up and go, hi, I'm Mark Henry. I'd like a title shot, and you get it. You do something to get it. So he's like, this is the perfect way for me to work my way into a title match.
Fuck his way?
I don't know why I said that, Sean.
That would be sexy.
So work my way into a title match. So that's what he did, and he got a title match. I mean, he lost, okay, whatever, but that's a good story. And like you said, he's a heel. He's a dick. You can do that. He made you feel really good, and then he yanked it out and was like, actually, fuck all you puppets. Now I'm going to murder your hero, John Cena, because I want the title. That's what it means to me, and I don't care about anything else surrounding it. Again, back to Sasha. She had a fucking rematch clause. All she literally had to do was show up and be like, hey, I'm going to cash that in at Clash of Champions. Thanks. And walk away. Yep. What's the point of doing the whole convoluted, like, I've got bad news. And then not even.
I mean, they didn't even.
What the point? What was the point?
She didn't. Exactly. She didn't even get anything over on Charlotte. You could have set up a story, and I think Jason Martin's post on this does a pretty good job of explaining exactly what I think is that, you know, you could, shout out to JM, you could do a story where, like, Charlotte had been saying, well, I'm not giving you a rematch because you're not cleared. And she's, like, mocking her for it, right? And then you could build up to this, and then this would be the way that she lures Charlotte out to make fun of her some more. And then, bam, just kidding, drop the elbow, I'm coming back, and I'm cashing in my rematch clause. That sort of makes sense. It's not a great story, maybe, but at least it makes sense. There was no, she had, like you said, she has the rematch clause. All she had to do was say, I'm exercising it, and we have a match. But instead, we get this. Charlotte's not even the one that comes out. We've got Dana, who 10 seconds before I was supposed to be feeling sympathetic for Dana because she was getting bullied by the same woman that Charlotte's going to beat. I mean, I don't even know why. Who thinks we want Dana Brooke as a babyface if that's what they want? I don't even know what's going on there.
She's just she's the, what's it called, the MacGuffin? Just that let's help advance the plot along doesn't mean
but she doesn't advance the plot.
She helped get to the point where she's like, oh, by the way, go tell Charlotte that the bad news is for her. Which poor delivery on the punchline too.
If Dana doesn't come out, does Sasha just continue? She just cries and then goes psych and then.
Actually, her own promo. Like, I would have rathered that. Well, actually, guys, I'm kidding. The bad news is for Charlotte. I'm coming back. Like, and we've seen this done before in such a way. Again, and I forgot about Brian. Brian did the thing where it's like, is my career over? Remember that for the Rumble? Yeah. And then he's like, no. Yeah. You know why that worked? Because we actually thought it might be over. And as we saw, about a year later, it was. Again, you have to have that. To do something like this, you have to have the proper backstory. You have to have you can't have them have been on TV the week before talking about, yeah, my back's hurt, but I don't need surgery. I'm fine. You don't even need surgery. You said that on TV. You said you didn't need surgery on TV. Now suddenly you go back to we had to go back to they called me up and we're like, well, actually, her. well, actually, we need you to come back in. We're going to let you know that there's bad news. But of course they didn't do that. It was just to say, well, actually, the bad news is for Charlotte because I'm coming for the title. This was just,
they were also
arguably as dumb as the old day.
I mean, and the fact that they were back to back ruined the entire show for me. It did.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated with that 45 minutes of time or whatever, however long it went on. It was a long fucking. It was like 10 to. It was from 10 o'clock until whenever Owens came out to have the 800th match with Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, what the fuck? Well, I mean, I was just like, this is insulting to my intelligence. I don't understand why we're doing any of this. Because I agree. I as big a Sasha Banks mark as I am, she should not be a babyface. It's never made sense. And the only reason she's a babyface is because they want to sell this. Well, because they decided to not call Bayley up, but then they did anyway, it's just weird how she's lost in this fucking mix now, even though she's the only one that's really over in the whole division after 2 weeks. Yeah, it's just I don't like her as a babyface. I don't understand. They're just the only thing I can think of is it's to sell their women's evolution story. It's because it was just out there to take some shots that Vince Russo was happy to pick up on at the Attitude Era and to once again remind us that Stephanie McMahon introduced these women and they've changed the game. Like at some point, let's stop talking about that and let's just keep fucking changing the game.
Yeah, we're superstars now instead of divas and all this stuff. It's like, well, I mean,
this
cool.
I mean, you do much more by putting on the kind of matches that they had at SummerSlam or at WrestleMania, or that Bayley, safer looking matches that Bayley puts on the regular, than you do by going out there and telling us how important everything is over and over again.
I also saw people upset again that she called Dana Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't have a problem with. You can use almost any insult in a pro wrestling scenario, in my mind, to get heat, but not when you're the babyface. That doesn't make sense to me.
We talked about this before. If it was part of an ongoing thing to say that Dana was fat or unattractive, I would have a problem with it. Since it's just this one line that they've latched onto, I also didn't get upset about Bert and Ernie either. I don't know why we're all of a sudden using the Muppets as insults for everybody, but
trying to get them back
if you have to bring all of your own context into it to get offended, I think maybe you're digging a little too deep. That's me.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But we can agree, and to the people saying, I'm not bagging on Sasha. The Sasha fans really they jump out, and it's always funny how that works, right? Like if you criticize someone, then it's everyone who kind of bites back at you is like, well, who's your favorite wrestler? Did you say? Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I'd say something about Roman, and the bite back is, well, Roman's, you're not giving him enough credit and this and that. The problem is it's the reality era stuff, and I'm sorry. Like if you want me to buy, you might actually be retiring, and you're not crying. I know how much this business means to you. You know how I know? You keep telling me. You've made it a part of all of your stories, and you actually do cry. Yeah, you actually do cry when the shit goes down. So now that you're here and you're telling me this and you're not crying, I know you're bullshitting me. I can't figure out why. If you had a good reason, then maybe I'd go with it. But I'd never. If you went with it, if she sucked you in, I've got some fucking property to sell you. Like you are really gullible if you bought this for even a single solitary second. Because it was so painfully clear. Well, there you go.
I mean, I did. She did it, but I mean, like I said, it's like you said, it's the reality era thing. Because the reason that I got sucked in it all is because of my personal connection to her as a performer. It's not because there's any kayfabe reason that it makes sense. It's not because there's any behind-the-scenes news item that made it make sense. It's because I care about her as a performer based on her journey from NXT, by the fact that I follow her on Twitter and I like her personality there or whatever. That's why I was emotionally invested at all. And maybe, I don't know, I would have to go back and rewatch it because in my mind I thought she was crying, but it's a perception issue. Whereas you, as someone, and it's just you're not as into her, you never have been. We've had this discussion many times. You could watch it with a more detached eye because you're not invested in her in that way.
I mean, I certainly, that's not to say that emotion doesn't exist. I mean, I watched the Brooklyn match with Bayley, and they were in the ring crying, and the four horsewomen, and of course, that tugs at you. Or even the respect thing and the bringing out the flowers after the Iron Man match and her like breaking down and like dropping to the ground. And they're like trying to pick her up like, well, who are these? Like, these are for you. Like, this is an amazing thing you've done here. And it's, oh my God, this is such, certainly I connect to that. You can connect to that kind of genuine emotion, which is why, I don't know, maybe I just didn't see the tears, but it just looked to me like someone very clearly trying to cry and failing. And as someone who's not, I think you certainly give more leeway when you're, it's a relationship, right? I mean, you're not going to you give more leeway to your wife than you would to just any normal person. I mean, I think that's just because you have a connection with someone, you feel that emotion with that person, then that tends to be what happens. So maybe this works for people who are fans of Sasha and for people who aren't. That's why the Henry thing worked so well. You didn't need to be a fan. It was so powerful that it just overtook you no matter how you felt when the segment started. So, and
I guess that's what they were going. I mean, with the Henry thing too, is even if you weren't a fan, you sort of recognize that this is a guy who's done a lot in this business. He's put up with a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what they were. That's what they were trying to go for with Sasha. With I guess that was their excuse to put in the women's evolution stuff again. But it didn't serve anything.
And again, to do the swerve when you had the rematch clause already, what purpose did that serve?
She accomplished nothing by doing this.
And why did Dana show up at all? Why would you come out? Why wouldn't it be Charlotte? Why wouldn't it be, I
guess Dana was going to try to win back Charlotte's favor by breaking.
You're
Sasha,
already done. So I'm going to, and why cut off the announcement as the heel? That you're just a dumbass. Let her say it and then come out and be like, ha ha, you're gone. We don't have to worry about you anymore. You should probably leave before I fuck your back up even more. Be a dick. Like, don't just come out and be like, I'm going to ruin you even worse. She didn't finish saying how ruined she is, you fucking dummy. What are you doing?
Well, and Dana's character at this point is that she's a fucking dummy, right? I mean, I don't even, I say that to be funny, but not really. I mean, she's like the inept lackey. That's her character.
The heel version of Becky Lynch. Poor Becky. I love her so.
Yeah, poor Becky. Yeah. See, you'd been balling if this was Becky.
I don't know that I would.
I mean, it does kind of. I mean, the other reason why I think it worked for her fans is because I would not be surprised if in 6 months she has to retire. Have you ever watched her work a match? I mean, the news leading up to this didn't back up this play, but her overall persona does. I mean,
sure.
I don't count on watching Sasha Banks wrestle when she's 40 for any number of reasons.
And maybe my own following the news and knowing she didn't need surgery. But I'm pretty sure she said that. I know the human memory is faulty, but I think she said on the Raw pre-show she didn't need surgery.
That's my memory of it too, yeah.
So
she came out and said, she started up the whole Charlotte, broke me or whatever.
Yeah, she tried to break me
last week. Right, but she didn't. Exactly, right. So
yeah, you can't. You change the things around, and again, it doesn't make sense. Even with the best case scenario with that, it doesn't make sense. Even with the build, it doesn't make sense. You have a rematch. Henry was doing it to get his way in. I mean, Bryan did it as a swerve, and that kind of also didn't make sense because it was just him saying, "I'm in the Rumble." Like he could have just come out and done that, but then he could have also come out and say, I did this because it'd be a happy thing. It'd be very happy. It's going to make people very happy to be like, I'm a prankster, I'm a jokester, which he totally is. That also fits in with him. I find no way that this fits in with literally anything, with anyone, anywhere, ever.
No.
So again, just really bad. Almost as bad as the Old Day thing.
I mean, the Old Day thing was at least pointless. I mean, it didn't. Yeah. It wasn't illogical.
Trying to make people laugh.
Right. It was a failed attempt at comedy. It wasn't insulting to your intelligence.
Sasha's great. Don't get me wrong. She's an incredible performer. Great matches. Great, in so many ways. I'm not a big fan of her promos, but I understand that's a preference thing. That is not me saying she's bad. She is certainly not bad. She is many things. She is not bad at her job. She's very good at her job.
As a huge fan of hers, I would totally agree with you that she's a natural heel. She's a better promo as a heel. She's a better in-ring worker. I mean, even though she's small, it's the stuff like smashing, Bailey's fingers from the crossface while she's trying to get to the ropes and stuff. She just has a really good wrestling mind for working dirty. And,
she reminds me a little bit of my younger sister, who is just an absolute fucking fireball of death that just walks around and is a plague on the earth. Like, you You get into a stare down with this person and you consistently believe, like, I'm not entirely uncertain that you're not going to rip someone's throat out at all times. Like, you always look like you want to murder whoever it is that's standing in front of you. That's what Sasha's like. I mean, she starts smiling and kind of being bubbly and happy, and I get that, but it's why the Bayley stuff works. Because Bayley is the exact opposite. Bayley always looks bubbly and charming, and when she doesn't, she's got that like reserved, like that sad look that she gets, that I'm worried look, that like it's still very innocent, and then that goes along with the happiness that you see every other time, and she hugs and she's all this. Sasha doesn't have that. Sasha always looks like she wants to murder you. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why I don't know how that's babyface. Sometimes you have characters, they should stay one way. I mean, you don't ever want to turn Cena heel, but you're going to turn Sasha baby? Fuck off. And Cena's actually really good at being a heel.
It's because they think they only have 3 fucking women in the division, so they had to turn Sasha the feuder with Charlotte, because Charlotte is a I mean, I don't know. I mean, they just need to.
I'll tell you what. I was a big fan of that Nia Jax, Alicia Fox thing last night. Did you see this?
Yeah, well, let me tell. I mean, this. Well, we can talk about that off the air. I didn't post that last night. I saw it earlier, but I thought we were like avoiding Twitter gifs, so we didn't get WWE pissed off. So I didn't post it.
Well, I posted the video too. So just if they want to have well, we can post gifs. It's fair use. We can post gifs with stuff around it, as long as there's, like we talked about.
Right, but if the person that we're embedding their tweet might have pirated it, basically, right? I mean, if they
take it down, there's still video up. Either way, though, it was the greatest fucking thing in the world because
bar none.
First of all, Nia is also very believable in her character, like talking to Fox and be like, "So hey, how's your friend? Huh? She's feeling bad. What do you think?" I know. You fucking bitches are under the impression that if you step to me, there aren't real life repercussions. There are
lives repercussions, but yeah.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Real lives repercussions. Even better.
She stumbled over her words a little bit, but that's all right.
Even better. She's so concerned with murder that she just doesn't have to talk properly. And then Foxy, as we know, and as her character has always been, is a fucking certified nutcase. So she loses her mind, starts throwing boxes around, and one of them hits Nia clean in the face. Foxy, briefly forgetting that she's on live television, and like has her hands out like she wants to cup her face.
The total like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Remember, she's in an angle, and that's right. Nia, for her part, it's the best reaction to anything I've ever seen. Initial shock, and then looks at her, and it's like you can see the thought in her head, like, bitch, I will murder your family. What in the fucking world did you just hit me in the face with a box? Pushes her out of her shoes. Her shoes went flying, Sean. She got pushed so hard her shoes went flying off.
If you watch it, this is why Alicia Fox should be on our televisions every week, because her shoes don't need to fly off. You watch her take that fall, she whips her legs up in the air to be overly dramatic and throws her shoes off. She knew exactly what to do to fix that. Or whatever. I mean, but it's a great little moment, because she definitely, I mean, the push is real, but she doesn't need to whip her legs up in the air. That's a sell, and she does it on purpose to get her shoes to fly. It's fucking brilliant.
And then what did she say? She's like, let's talk this out. Like, you've hit her in the face with a box and she's pushed you out of your shoes at this point, but now you want to talk. She's fucking insane, and it's great. There was one time on TV, she's pouring Coke on her head. She's stealing concessions from fans just to pour it on her head.
Stone Cold Alicia Fox. Yeah,
she's fucking awesome. I couldn't be more excited.
And she's a good wrestler, too. I mean, she's better than most of the women of her era, for sure. And that fucking Northern Light suplex is
I dare you to hit the Northern Light suplex on Nia Jax, Alicia Fox.
She's going to get squashed.
Oh, for sure. But I'm more excited for Nia Jax versus Alicia Foxy than I am Sasha Charlotte. Tell you that much.
True.
Your girl Bayley beats Charlotte in a non-title match. Good setup for later, because this creates conflict with Charlotte and Sasha, no matter the outcome of the match at Clash of Champions. Why did they drop the? Fuck you for your. Every time I say it, I want to say
Mick Foley. Yeah, you and Mick Foley both.
Man, but that's really good, right? Because it creates that conflict with Sasha too. Like, I deserve a title shot. And if Sasha wins, that's who it's against. And if she loses, then Sasha's got a reason to be pissed off at her friend.
Well, see, that's why that's just the more I think about that fucking Sasha promo, the more pissed off I get, because all you have to do is hold off her comeback until after Clash of Champions. You could have Charlotte screw Bayley out of the title and a title shot, get more sympathy for the babyface, then after a few more weeks, oh, we thought Sasha would be back, she's not back yet. Oh, maybe now this promo scares us. Maybe it's part of a Sasha heel turn, and she feuds with Bayley or something. I don't. It could have worked.
You know what I hope happens? I hope Sasha loses. Charlotte goes on. Bayley's like, Bayley, I beat the champ. It's my turn. You lost. She lost in the rematch, but she's nice about it, right? And Sasha acts happy for her. But it's insincere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. And then they show her Bayley's like, thanks so much for the support. And they hug and she walks away and they linger on Sasha and she gets this look in her eye. I don't know if she can pull it off because I'm sorry, Sasha Marks. She's not.
She can. I mean, she did. Sasha's turn in NXT back when she was still pretty green was well liked when at the time Summer Rae corrupted her and brought her into the BFFs. She can do it. But I kind of think they should just do the surprise, the full Kevin Owens, have them hug after a match and then Sasha just fucking savages her. Imagine the fucking heat she would get. That would be awesome.
If Bayley's champ at the time,
I would just have have Bayley think Sasha's got her back and then Sasha attacks her. And
Does it work better with the title in it, or if it's Sasha turns on her after not getting the title and they do a Charlotte Dana title program with Sasha Bayley underneath that?
I mean, I think that's where I'm afraid that they think the money is in fucking Charlotte versus Dana, that's Vince's feud.
Oh, we're headed for that. We are headed for that.
I mean, I know we're headed for it, but I'm worried I'm worried that that's going to be the headliner and that Sasha Bayley's going to be the undercard, which is
that a bad thing? Because theoretically, right, you don't need the title for
if we like good matches, yes.
I mean, if you're thinking like they are, well, we can have the title prop up this match, and this match doesn't need a title to be this big, huge thing. So, I mean, you get 2 for 1. No one's going to get Charlotte Dana without the title.
To be fair, I haven't seen Dana do a lot of work as a babyface. Maybe she's great at it, but she's another one that's such a fucking natural heel. Why are they trying to turn her into this bullied character? It really seems like it's going. It seems like it's going against her grain, though. She's somebody who she would play a really good bully, as opposed to she's being mousy to Charlotte.
She's a real piece of shit. So I don't want to. That's a problem they have. That was actually why I like the show, because there was a lot of stuff that was my biggest gripe with WWE. Typically is, and there are many, but the biggest is I want people to act naturally. How I would naturally expect you to respond in a situation like this. And I just don't, I can't naturally expect that again, real piece of shit of a person like Dana Brooke would plead with Charlotte to, please don't, think poor ill of me. I'll take better notes next time. She's a battered woman. I just can't,
I did like the notes gimmick, though, I will say.
That's fun. And she's actually out there with a clipboard, furiously, writing and looking up and down at her little clipboard there. That was pretty slick. That match sucked, by the way. Bayley Charlotte. What happened? Did Bayley actually hurt herself on that?
No. Bayley is as good at selling as I'm serious. I mean, I've watched Bayley sell that.
No, Geno.
I mean, I don't mean it like that.
It's a work, you fuck.
If you haven't watched, I mean, it's like Sammy's ankle. I mean, it happens all the goddamn time. I mean, she's really good at selling it.
She's just real good
and she remembers to sell it through the whole match, unlike a lot of other people. So people think, holy shit, it's real. But no, I don't think it's real.
Cool. All right. So the opening segment was great because, first of all, it had heat. Nothing else on the show had any fucking heat. No one cared about anything. But it was great because, why are you doing that?
Because I don't necessarily agree.
Your lips were glistening.
Mm.
You kiss them.
I do like my lip gloss. Longtime CSL listeners will know.
I wanted to kiss them.
It ranks up there with my coffee and my water in terms of important things in my life.
Show us your mug. What's your mug game?
It's a little Japanese thing. It's got platypuses on it and stuff.
How many fucking mugs do you own?
Several.
Several. That's a great word, by the way. So so that's a good segue into not the mug talk, but the reacting naturally stuff. So last week was all about explosive shit happened. Whoa, what's the fallout? And I think as far as storytelling goes, you don't get right to the answer. I need everyone in the story. I'm asking the question as a fan. Now I need everyone in the story to ask the questions. Sure enough, Stephanie's acting like she doesn't know what's going on. Stephanie is a great pro wrestling actor, by the way. Made me doubt everything I think I know, even though I know it. I mean, I know she's a piece of shit. And she's like playing it like maybe she's not this time, and somehow I'm buying it. Like, she's good, man. She's really good. Foley is also good because we know him and his current self to be an inherently good dude. This is the Santa Claus believing in, holy Foley guy, and is telling her very passionately, like sad, almost sad, like, look, I want to believe you. Excuse me. It's really hard to, because literally all the evidence points to the opposite, that you're, and I do know you, the shy-eyed whatever that I met back then. I want to believe in that. The what?
Shy smile.
Shy smile. Okay, yeah, the shy smile. I want to believe in that. And she's like, I already told you, whatever. But like, please believe me, Mick. Like, I didn't have anything to do with this. Like, actually good pleading. And Mick's like, man, I have to believe you, because if not, it means you're a really good liar, and then that would mean you're a really horrible person. And I just can't believe that that's the case. And he walks away. Perfect delivery on his part. And Steph looks at him with this like very sad look on her face, like, and which could be interpreted in many ways. I hate that he thinks that of me. I hate that that's true. I am guilty as shit, and he's figured it out. What am I going to do? I mean, there are several options there. All great stuff. So they come out, and people are complaining that Owens is sort of the backdrop of the piece. He's got the title. What the fuck? Well, he's like fifth in the story. No, he's not. He has the belt. He's the fucking centerpiece. Having that makes you the centerpiece. You are automatically, by default, the number one guy. That is the shittiest complaint I could possibly hear about any of this. He came out, got the most promo time, and said, this is my show. Here's the prop to prove it. Yeah, Triple H might have helped a little bit, but actually, I'm the fucking man. He's just enough of a shithead to take credit for it or act like it is totally on him when, we know that to not necessarily be the case. That's what makes him a heel. That's what makes him shitty. And, fuck everybody else. I don't really care. I don't care if it was this person or what Foley's doing or Steph. They're here, fine, whatever, but it's all about me. That's great. That's in line with how we think he would act. Here comes Seth Rollins. Same thing. They go, well, even Rollins didn't even focus on Owens. He focused on Steph. That's what makes the most sense for him to do. To come out and be like, Stephanie, what the fuck? We've been cool for like years. Why would you do this? And Steph's like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything. What's the natural reaction to that? You fucking actually expect me to believe that? He's your husband. He is your fucking husband. And Foley, reluctantly, saying, I don't know, but I got to have her back because we're in this together. And then he's like, Foley, what about you fuck? Because Seth's been fucked around. He doesn't know who the fuck to believe. So he's even throwing Foley's Santa-believing ass under the bus. Think, well, I'll kill you too. What are you in on, you conspiracy theory fuck? And then Owens is there to be like, who gives a shit? You're a real piece of shit. You're just a total failure. And then they start fighting. Stephanie tries to suspend dude because he won't listen to her, which is totally a Stephanie thing. Foley tries to broker peace or try to actually book the fucking show. Let's not suspend a dude who can like make us money, and it also is a good setup to do for him to get a big babyface pop out of it. So they book matches, all of which were good matches. Seth and Jericho was fun. And the main event was, no one cared, but it was a good match. Like, the work was good. Like, everything they did within the match was good. Owens and Zayn. And also, hey, it's pretty cool that the main event of a Raw in 2016 is Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. And one of them's a champ. That's pretty fucking cool, right? I think we can kind of sit back and be like, maybe I'm not, like, super into this, and this could be something better. But also, again, set up for later, because now that's part of the story. A main event on Raw. They can add that in later when they do get around to Sammy coming back or maybe coming up through the ranks to do stuff. They don't have to, but if they want to, they have this little bit of footage. They have this little bit of stuff right here to kind of go back to. Also, we got a great line in the back from Jericho coming up and being like, you can't treat my friend like this. He's the longest reigning Universal Champion in history. That's a good line. That's funny. It's good stuff. Everything about this was really good. I really don't understand any complaint about it. And you have complaints, I'd love to hear them.
Well, Owens is like the 5th or 6th guy in the story, so.
I'm done. Let's get out. I'm out. I'm on vacation again. I lost my smile all over it. No, really, why do you think that? Do you really think that?
Don't buy the argument that just because you got the championship belt, you're the most important part of the story, because you just ran down, I mean, in your 10-minute synopsis of it, you mostly talked about everybody else.
Who headlined the show?
In a match?
Who was in the main event?
Kevin Owens.
Okay.
That's not the end-all, be-all. Roman Reigns stood tall.
It is the end-all. The show ends when it's over. That's the
No, I mean, you're deciding that right now that's your most important thing. I mean, there are other instances where, I mean, the entire show could be about somebody else, and was Sami Zayn? Was he elevated? I mean, is he super important? Because
it's possible to. I think it's possible to have more than one thing going on at one time. I
agree with you. I'm not saying that there's not. I'm just saying, to me, is this a well-executed McMahon drama story? Yes. Am I tired to fucking death of McMahon drama stories? Yes.
Valid. That's totally valid.
That's it. I mean, I'm not saying this is. I mean, I thought it was pretty well done. Yeah, I don't give two shits. I really don't. And I do think. I think more so. My bigger problem, not so much like who ended the show. I think it's important that they thought the big stars that needed to open the show were Mick and Steph backstage instead of your champion. I think we give a lot of we all got excited when the women opened the show a few weeks ago. Oh, that's important. It matters who opens. Well, it still does, and they decided that who the big stars are the people wearing suits backstage. That was like a 10-minute segment. It wasn't a quick cutaway. It was like that was before the credits. That was the cold open.
I guess when something works, why concern ourselves with that? If it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really work for me though. If I wasn't doing this job, that's. I mean, I probably would have been done a while ago, but I don't.
So you're saying they opened again? I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly when they did the draft and they set up the McMahons as the commissioners and everything else. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's print and tape of me saying I don't want to watch this anymore, and this is exactly what's going on. So, and
I'll tell you, I don't disagree with that. I certainly think it's a valid criticism. And here's a question though: if Owens is fifth in the story, if the story's good, why does it matter?
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Owens is being buried. He did very well in his role. I mean, I think that's great. Like you said, it's very reality era. I mean, this is super. I mean, it's all of Seth's complaints are about stuff that we think we know behind the scenes, right? It's all, I mean, even the fact that Rollins is dismissing Owens with the criticism that most people had of Rollins' reign, that he's a puppet and that it's not about him, is meta and, behind the scenes and everything. I mean, there's lots of examples of, they're building off of their own subtext here to tell this story. And that's fine.
Isn't this very, hang on though, because it's a McMahon family drama. Is it? Because isn't Game of Thrones entirely predicated on everyone fucking everyone over to try to get their person to be the person, the king?
Yes, but I'm still, Cersei Lannister is still an interesting character to me. Stephanie McMahon isn't. And if you still are interested, as you think she is, I mean, I've been watching this. I don't think maybe people would. I wouldn't be watching Game of Thrones if it went on for 25 years, right? We know there's an end date. And plus, we also only get 10 episodes every fucking year and a half. We don't get 52 a year.
True.
So, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why that's not an apples to apples comparison, I think.
True. That's a good point.
It is. I mean, the story is tried and true, and it does work. I mean, they've got ratings to show they do better when there's a McMahon headlining it.
Here I am buying in, And it also, what we talked about with you earlier with Sasha, absolutely applies to me and Stephanie. I'm a big Stephanie McMahon fan. And so, I just, maybe other people think she's not the performer that I think she is because maybe other people don't see. They have like you said, the clinical detachment that I don't when I watch her segment. So I don't know. It just hammered home to me that, if everyone's acting like they should be, I mean, you just tell a different story if you want Owens to be the centerpiece. But if you want him to be the centerpiece, I get it, but it doesn't mean this is bad.
I mean, it's just there is. I mean, at one point, and I think they're poking at smart buttons, but they had Seth say a line, "Kevin, you don't matter. You're a puppet." I mean, their words matter. I mean, that's a message that they're sending. And I'm not saying Owens is buried. I thought he did great. I think he's still got an important part in the story. It's better to be fifth in the main event story than to be where Sammy is, which is, his character right now is guy who gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting put into some nice spots because he's a good worker, but he doesn't have a story. His story right now is that he's kind of banged up and he's been left behind, which I guess, again, that's better than no story, but it's not great. So Owens is better off than that, but in kayfabe, he's the guy that doesn't matter in the main event story. They're saying.
Yeah, I mean, okay. He does matter. He has to matter. He's the guy with the belt.
Oh, I agree. But, if you like the story is telling you his role in the story is to be the guy who's going to have a chip on his shoulder because everybody else isn't paying attention to him.
I don't know about that. It's also like he doesn't deserve to be.
He has to fight to stay out of a triple threat next week against the other returning Golden Boy.
Which that was bad too. I hate the beat the champion to get a match with the champion.
And if the Rusev stuff is true, he may beat him next week. We don't know. Reigns has nothing else to do at Clash of Champions right now, so.
You know what I hope happens? I hope they're doing the match, and the Titantron lights up, and Rusev's on a beach with Lana. He's like, "Hey Roman, just want to let you know, you ruined the wedding, but you're not going to ruin the honeymoon. I'm totally going to fuck her wild tonight." Something like that. And she's good. She's gonna be. What did he say? She's gonna be happy, or whatever Roman called him out for. She's not pleased with you or something. She's gonna be pleased. And then Owens rolls him up, and Reigns is really pissed. And then he disappears from TV and shows up on that beach, and they have a fuck off.
You're all about fucking your way to title shots today. That should have been the title of the episode.
Henry made some sweet loving to.
Fucking your way to the top, the Geno Morosco way.
Johnny, what you got here?
Exactly. Yeah, I did think that about the Rusev stuff. Rusev's a worker. I think he specifically put a date that would put him out. I could see him returning as a surprise.
Is 23 days exactly until Clash?
No, it's the Wednesday after Clash. It's a weird date to pick it, but
I also 23 days seems excessive for a honeymoon.
Well, you thought 2 weeks was, or 10 days, whatever mine was. You were like, what?
Yeah, I was like, 2 weeks? Fuck are you doing? Cesaro and Sheamus.
Cesaro's down 3-0. What in the world?
I would love it if they got to London and Sheamus just beat him in like 20 seconds. Just brogued him and pinned him. 4-0. Thanks for trying, bud. And Cesaro just disappeared.
18 seconds.
Go ahead to Bola so it can get more hits for our site. Go do the Bola tournament next year.
The Bola tournament. He could go to SmackDown, right? That's part of his whole gimmick, is he would rather be on SmackDown. He could get swept. I actually, even as Super Cesaro Mark at this point, just to break fucking from the pro wrestling. I hope he does. I hope he loses either in London or in 5. He gets 1 win and then he gets squashed in the 5th one. Just to fuck with it, just mess up with the whole, just so we can always look. So when we think we know how a best of series is going to get booked, you can always say, "But remember Cesaro Sheamus."
Yeah, man. No, I really think you should sweep him. I'm not kidding about that. Like, just sweep the dude. Like, you do these things and you specifically set them up for you create an expectation, and the expectation is not that the sweep will happen. The expectation now is I saw on Twitter. Megan was like, "Oh, they're going to 0-4 Red Sox this shit." Oh yeah. Down 3-0 and be the first, come back and 4 in a row. And maybe it'll be interesting, and you get me emotionally vested with he's got the back injury, and they've done a really good job of making there be consequences for that in each match. And he is down 3-0 and he's struggling. He's got all the fucking tape on. He's not sure how to figure it out. He's going to have to get crafty, win a match with some fucking smoke and mirrors so he can heal up, maybe win a quick one, steal one, maybe just pull a pistol out right there in the ring. Mm-hmm. Just do whatever he needs to do.
Mystico, that shit.
Yeah, do whatever he needs to do, and then you get invested along the way. I don't know, but I don't know. At some point, I just like chaos, and it'd be more interesting to me to just have Sheamus beat him. And
see, that's why I like 5 though, because like the sweep is one thing, or 7, but actually like, I'm okay either way. Maybe
it does have a chance to come back.
They'll get me on the 7th, or have him win 3 and then have him lose the 7th. That's fucking smart.
That's fucking. I thought you liked Cesaro.
I do, but yeah. I like a good story too, and I still get to watch him wrestle. That's the thing. I like all of these matches. It kind of covers up the fact that neither guy has the greatest character in the world, and Have it be a best of 45. I don't give a shit. Do it. Keep wrestling. Fight forever.
A best of. Well, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil are currently in a best of 45, and none of us like that. I just don't.
Well, that's because they can't wrestle. See, it matters. Wrestling matters.
Wrestling does matter. Was there anything else on the show that we did not get to?
You want to talk about Enzo and Cass's hand baby thing? I don't.
Man, this show had 3 different.
I hate to say it, but was Sean onto something when he said maybe Enzo and Cass don't need to talk for 10 minutes every week?
I believe Sean was onto something when he said
we're
that.
starting to get some evidence that Enzo and Cass don't need to talk for 10 minutes every week.
It's like they're like, well, we have to do something. What are you going to do? Couple haters, go to labor. Got it. I've got a plan. I've got a plan, Vince. Let me just run with this. All right, I trust you, pal. Out he goes. Couple haters going into labor. Gonna labor. I feel labor. Cass, lay down. Let's do breathing exercises. Like, what the fuck are these two?
What do you mean? I'm
in labor. I just told you about the labor. And by the way, Shining Stars, couple haters. All right. And then a fake baby. And then Saxton's like, well, a baby's born on there for the first time. And Graves has to remind, no, Byron, that's not
you
true.
Fucking moron. One of these days, Corey's going to slip and call him a fucking moron on the air.
It's like you think. I like to think of Graves like it's not true, Byron. Like he's just like beaten already. Like he's not been there long. He's like it's not true, Byron, and so he's like upset that Saxton doesn't know that, but also upset at the fact that that's not true. That like it's actually not that the fake baby it's not. There's no baby, Byron. Fuck off. Get this guy out of here. Why are you here? You add nothing of value. You should be
better than David
Otunga saying. If you put a pre-show panel of Booker T, Lita, and Byron Saxton, and 1,000 words are said, and no one fucking says anything at all. That is just fucking
none of the words are in a sequence that has ever been used before in the history of words.
Just, why do you exist in the world? You just have nothing to say. Oh, the first time a baby, there's no fucking baby. And he went and he kissed it on the head, apparently, and just gave it to some person.
I still don't understand how that was Cass's segue into the soft thing. So he said he called the baby soft, I guess, and that's
he's like, what did he say?
There was something, it was something about the baby reminds me of the Shining Stars, and I don't know. Yeah.
There you go, because babies are soft. Soft like a baby. That's pretty slick. Yep. You know who I'm real mad at? I'm mad at the fan who, when Enzo actually went out and handed the fake baby, they put their arms out.
Yeah. She bought a certified G shirt at some point in her life. So
she was a fucking plant to get her to go along with it because no one else would, because they'd be like, what are you doing? And so it'd be like, you want the baby from the labor? He's any normal person. What the fuck are you doing? There's no baby.
Couple labors.
Yeah, like no. No, I don't want from your He's like, I'm going into labors. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, it was a segue from Labor Day to begin with, which
he was so pleased with himself. There are a couple of haters, couple labors. It's Labor Day. Oh, Vince, you're gonna love this. Cass with the breathe, lay down. We'll do breathing exercises. How you doing? And the crowd, why would you chant along with that?
There are things that are more fun for a live crowd than they are home crowd, and that's also. I know you were making fun of Bola earlier, but if you look at Bola or I have to think that like people on Twitter who are there are talking about like they just had a fucking orgasm with wrestling. And that's not, like in the long run, nobody is going to say that any of those, maybe they will, but they're not going to say that any of those are like the greatest matches of all time or anything. It's just that it was really cool to be there live. And I guess that's the Enzo and Cass thing, right? It's fun to be there and chant along with him, but it's painful to fucking watch it at home.
The Enzo and, that's a good thing you brought up. The Enzo and Cass thing, obviously, was a fake baby and fake labor. There's nothing pleasant about labor. I'm of the belief, I did not see this or witness it, the Bola thing was a human centipede thumbs up asses.
Yeah, that was the thing that happened. Yeah.
That's far more pleasant.
True.
I'm not ever going to complain about thumbs and butts. So that's not apples to apples, as
No,
you
it's
like
not.
to say. It's not. That's good. That feels nice. Shiver me
It's not
timbers.
really my thing, but
I know that ain't true. So the Shining Stars, and then they got beat. That's what's even better. They did the labor thing and the fake. He was in pain. He just gave birth, so he was in a bad spot. That's the other thing. That's poor planning, Enzo. You knew you were going to have a baby and then a match. Fuck's the matter with you? And you gave the baby. What a dick! What, you just give babies away? What an asshole he is. I don't like Enzo anymore. That's just bad.
I don't know. I can't believe you put that much thought into that. That's frightening almost.
Me?
Yeah.
That's what happened. I'm just commenting on what I see, Sean.
I understand.
I'm just asking questions.
I gotcha. So
but the Shining Stars won.
Yep.
Just put the belt on them. Fuck it.
Sure. I mean, I don't know how many more chances the club fucking gets. So
I mean, and anyone who wants to make a name for themselves, I believe Enzo's in postpartum depression. So
probably, yeah.
Yeah, you might have a good chance of beating him. And I think that was the whole show. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, there was Braun Strowman and there was Bo Dallas. I think it's the only thing we're going to talk about.
Let's talk about those two things real quick. Braun Strongman's his birthday today.
Oh, happy born day, Braun Strongman.
Happy birthday to Braun Strowman. Again, good stuff because he got a story that made sense. He took the hat or the mask off the luchador. Took the hat
doesn't
off.
watch Max. He doesn't watch Mexico, so he doesn't know what that's called.
I don't watch Mexico either. Took the lucha hat off the luchador. And Sin Cara is not real happy about that. You don't respect my culture.
Mm-hmm.
And Strowman's culture is murder. So they went out and booked a count-out finish. What a stupid show.
Yeah, yeah. That's, well, you gotta,
he likes to kill people. He'll win by count-out. What's the finish? We're going to count him out.
It worked for Baron Corbin, so let's just do it here too.
Yeah, I remember back in the days when Brock Lesnar, or what was it? No, it was Big Show. You know, the Big Show, you would do a monster angle. You have Rey Mysterio do a stretcher job and actually duct tape him to the stretcher, and then Big Show picks it up and fucking
smacks it off the ring post,
smacks it against the ring post, and lets him go. So Mysterio falls and just blasts his head on the fucking pavement. That's how you do that. It's not pavement, it's padding. But either which way, that's how you do it. That's how you look like a murderous thug. Not you win by count out and then go out and check on him. Are you okay? I have to beat you up a little bit more now, if that's all right. Roar! Just say
they
roar.
did, because they played highlights of his last week to set this up. So it was good. There was a story here, even if the finish was dumb. But you got to hear the roar twice because they played the roar for the flashback to last week, and they played the roar for this week. So
someone asked me, "Is he saying roar? Is it roar or brawn at the top of his song?" And my answer is, "Don't fucking ask me questions like that. I don't know the answer. Also, it's 2016 and Google exists. You're gonna have you're gonna get an accurate answer from Google."
I think that's you don't want to stare into the abyss like that. If you start wondering what he's saying, that's like playing records backwards. You end up getting transported to fucking death dimensions, and it's like an H.P. Lovecraft story. Don't do that.
This is true. I had a discussion with a buddy of mine about mistaken lyrics the other day. My mistaken lyric, do you know that 70s show?
Mm-hmm, I do.
At the very end of the opening theme song, when the license plate shows, Kelso says, "Hello, Wisconsin." I thought he said, "Well, it was gutsy." I have no idea why. My buddy's was even better. You know the song "Waterfalls" from TLC?
Yeah.
The lyric is... Hang on. It's not as good as my laugh indicates.
No, that's what I was going to say. That's the problem with when you crack yourself up, is it's always the reveal isn't as good as the laughing setup.
I blew it because I laughed first.
You want me to tell you mine, and then you can see if you can get yours back together?
His is "Don't go chasing waterfalls," and he thought they said, "Don't go." God damn it! He thought they said, He thought they said, "Don't go Jason Waterfalls." He thought that was a person. Like they're saying, "Don't go Jason Waterfalls." Like, oh yeah, Jason, don't go. He's a good dude, Jason Waterfalls. Okay,
That
see
doesn't
what I
even
mean?
make
It's
sense.
not as good without with the laugh being first. All right, yeah. What's yours?
You know the Steve Miller song? Well, I didn't even. I think it's. I don't know what it's called. It's got the line, "Big old jet airliner."
The Joker.
The Joker?
I'm a smoker. I'm a midnight toker.
No, it's
That's
a different song though.
Oh, all right. I don't know then.
My story's ruined now.
You don't even know the song. We've totally.
Well, I think it's called. I don't know. The lyric is "Big old jet airliners, don't carry me too far away." That that one. No.
Okay. What did you think?
I thought it was "We're gonna tear that line up." The big old jet airliner.
Oh, all right. Not as good as Jason Waterfall. He's a good dude.
Yeah, well, Jason Waterfalls doesn't make any sense. Why would you think he was Jason Waterfall?
Don't go Jason Waterfall.
Like that doesn't. That doesn't fit with anything else. Did he not? He also didn't understand any other word in the song.
No,
he's never heard the song. He only saw the movie with Wahlberg and Foley and not Foley.
It's a joke, Sean. Fuck! Why are you yelling at me now? You ruined it.
I'm not yelling at you. I don't understand the Jason Waterfalls.
It made me think. He's a good dude. Don't go, Jason Waterfall. Don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Made me think of that time you said you didn't want to explain Hamlet to me, and I said I know Hamlet, and you said, "Huh, yeah, he's a good dude, Hamlet." I know Hamlet.
That's true.
What was the other thing that we?
Bo Dallas. The new meaner, drunker Bo Dallas.
Peenwatch.com is live now. A listener of this show, Henry, he launched Peenwatch.com. You'll see Bo Dallas' business.
And Vince Russo. I think Vince Russo's mad about it, but that's okay.
Is he?
No, well, somebody jumped in our the Peenwatch thread to say that it's a double standard that, So it's sort of like Vince Russo being upset that nobody gets mad.
Yeah, we're not allowed to. You're objectifying men. You're talking about their parts. If it was women, it wouldn't be cool. And you're right. And the thing about that is, shut the fuck up. I don't care what you have to say. Don't at me. We're having a good time. Quit fucking it up.
I'm not I broke. Well, see, I shouldn't even do it. I told myself I'm not even going to look at Twitter mentions anymore, but then I do because I'm a fucking egomaniac. So
you're an egomaniac. You are.
We all are.
Yeah. It's hard to get away from it, is what it is. I hate it with the fire of 1,000 suns, but yet here I am. I will tweet as soon as this goes off the air, and then I will furiously click our notifications to see if there are mentions and people praising me effusively. So please do that if you're still listening. Say nice things to me. It keeps me going in life.
It helps you believe.
Yeah. What did you think of it though? Like, no, really. We talk about it's objectifying. I'm not objectifying. His dick and balls are very clearly noticeable in his singlet.
My thing is like you don't need to have a special. You don't need to make a joke about people looking for nip slips and camel toe. That's the world does that. Everybody does that. So we made a little. We got a little running joke about when you can see a dude's penis in his trunks. It's not like you don't need equal. You don't need equal time for this. I mean, it's not like nobody's out there looking. I mean, fucking, what's the highest rated post in the history of Cage Side, Geno?
Brooke Hogan's tits.
Yep. So, I mean, it exists. You don't need to have a gimmick about it. So we just have this one thing that we're having a little fun with. And if that's the thing that you're going to get outraged about,
people care. Like wardrobe malfunction stuff. Like the post was Brooke Hogan's breasts make an appearance on TNA Impact during her wedding to Bully Ray. Because they did, like they came out of her stuff, and it was like this thing. She's like, "Oh my god!" And she's like telling Hulk, who's like laying on the ground selling something, "Dad, I can't get my top up. Oh my god, my boobs are." She's trying to figure out what to do. Like it's an interesting. It's a wardrobe malfunction. You do a post on that. It's interesting. People care. People click. Obviously, it's done insane numbers. Years later, it was still every now and again it'll pop up in our top posts for the day, kind of shit. Like people care about that kind of stuff. It's and again. We didn't create Peenwatch. A woman did. The other show on this network that we're huge fans of, not your demographic, talk about it all the time. It's not.
I think if it was just you and me doing it, I don't think anybody would complain. It's like it's a whole like fucking TJ Perkins men's rights activist shit where they're like, oh, well, women are doing it and they don't get in trouble for it. I mean, that's Russo's argument. Oh, I get yelled at for liking to look at a naked woman, but you can look at a naked man all the time and it's not a problem. Yeah, it's not the same thing.
That's not what's happening. Okay, that's the other thing. Is you're looking at a naked woman and you go, ooh, I want to fuck her. No one's looking at Bo Dallas's business and going, oh, I want to jump on it. They're looking to go, why is your dick out? What in the world? What the fuck? I can see both of your balls. I don't want to see your balls. I never at any point have wanted to see Bo Dallas's nutsack, and yet here it is straight in my face because he's wearing a really abrasive singlet. And there was the V that I talked about with Big E. Did you see the V? The way it just spills out and over, and it creates some fucking V shape.
Does anybody want to see balls? I mean, there's no one in the world. Seriously, I mean, like, is there anyone in the world who's like, oh yes, I just want to see a nice sack? I don't think so.
Oh man, that's dirty. I kind of like it.
I just don't think so. I mean, I could see, like, you know, that I'm gonna get this is the kind of good thing Julie's not home. God damn it, Sean, stop it!
Did you just smack yourself in the face? Do it again.
I can't.
We're good. We've run long. We don't care. I don't care. You're right. No one likes balls. No one ever. You've never had a girlfriend who's like, oh, show me your balls. Let me get a ball pic.
Right? There's no.
It's a dick pic, not a ball pic, and you never see the balls in the pic because balls are gross. Dicks are gross too. They look like a slug. But the balls underneath it just hang, and if it's hot, they're hanging to your fucking knees, and if it's cold, they're just not even there. They just fucking hide up in your body. It's just a little shriveled up sack. Oh, give me that shriveled sack pic.
It looks like a lizard. It's got like a I don't like.
I like how when you said it, you like really emphasized it, like sack. Oh yeah.
Well, it is. That's what it is. Like nobody's like, yeah, I want to see that. Give me some.
You know what would have been fun if the Rollins.
I'm sure there is someone in the world who is into sack.
Oh, totally, of course. I mean, we're talking like there's there are plenty of people I'm sure just balls in their face, but it would have been cool.
Balls in your face is different than just like looking at balls. Like
I won't say what the sexts were. I looked at the Rollins sext stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping it'd be some crazy shit. He'd be, really maybe even a little out there. It's real standard stuff. I mean, he's not saying anything that's not, it's he's a little aggressive. He's an aggressive lover. He's an aggressive lover, it seems. But, I don't know.
That's just foreplay, too. He was he was heading over to this girl's house, right? Some lucky Kansas City, some lucky Missourian.
But I would have preferred if it was like some crazy shit. Like if he's like, yeah, come to my hotel room and let me dip my sack. Like he was talking about teabagging or some crazy shit. Like, no, it's just real standard type stuff. So there you go. Well, this is the furthest we've ever gone off the rails.
Well, at least we did it at the end. Sometimes we do it at the beginning.
True. No one will get to this point, which the announcement is that the show's canceled because I've already gotten an email from our HR department. So we're done here. So that's great. Sorry, everyone, but we love you. Bye.